What would your message be to people listening that feel we can't overcome this current divide we have?
I talk about this a lot. This is the value of history. I know people feel discouraged right now. Seems like everybody's angry and atmosphere is kind of mean and we're more isolated socially and politics just seems terrible. But then I got to remind people, all right, we've gone through slavery and Jim Crow. I was talking about Michelle's mom, who grew up in Inglewood over here. She just passed a year and a half ago. She basically went to a segregated school. If you lived on the south side of Chicago, you going to downtown to go to Marshall Fields or Macy's, not something that was necessarily encouraged. You go into certain neighborhoods, you get beat up bad. Even the 60s. I'm older than you guys, but I mean, we've gone through assassinations and riots and Rodney King. And we always, I think, have a tendency, partly because the news projects it, right, to think that our time is uniquely discouraging or tough. And if you study a little bit of history, I do think it gives you that perspective of things go up and down. History doesn't move in a straight line. And the thing you control is how you react to it, the values you've got. And there are always good people out there. Mm-hmm. There is always common ground to be found. And it's up to you, how much responsibility do you have to bring that to the table? How do you show up?
Do your part.
If you're doing that, if enough of us do that, then we'll get through this, just like we usually have.
The United States from the 1950s till now looks like cell division. This is how congressmen have voted, and you can see how over time things have become more and more polarized. Things are so divided now that 96% of Democrats do not marry Republicans. This is Twitter from 8 years ago, and what it shows is Republicans follow Republicans and Democrats follow Democrats. The Hill was the only major account that both parties followed. In 2016, Democrats and Republicans were separated on Twitter, but now they're on completely different social networks. Democrats have Blue Sky and Republicans have Truth Social. So in the digital realm, there's extreme separation, but now you're seeing it in the physical world too. Thousands are leaving California and New York to states like Florida and Texas. The US is so divided now that it's kind of a country of two nations. And where does it go from here?
Here are my political views. Call them the politics of America. Don't sell politics on the public stage. Nobody wants to be preached to from a Facebook page. The divisions we stir weaken us all. Together we stand, divided we fall. Our hurtful words don't spark debate. They just stoke the anger that leads to the hate. Neighbor versus neighbor is a precarious fight when there ain't that much difference between the left and the right. Our enemies emboldened and our allies dismayed, while the worst of humanity is being displayed. Dictators and tyrants look to leverage our hate as we squander our freedoms and soil our fate. Our country, once shining like the city on the hill, is now so divided it's mentally ill. Let's come together and finally unite and make this a country where the future is bright. I hope everyone has a great day. So my political message right now is one of unity. We have a lot of external pressures. We have a lot of things going on in the world. And I just think that we are a stronger, more productive country with a brighter future if we can somehow bring our population more together. So go have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great week.
What is your political party?
I'm a Democrat.
Do you have a compliment for the Republican Party?
I love that they have such a strong passion for their culture and their traditions and their religion, because I think that helps to build community.
Do you feel like there's a divide in Texas politics?
There's a huge divide. I think it's a real big bummer. Even though this is a red state, there's a lot of blue dots here. Getting out and talking to your neighbors and assuming that they're not evil just because they have a different belief than you would be helpful. Not everybody's so extreme. People think that if you say I'm a Democrat, I think all these things, and if I'm a Republican, I think all these things, but a lot of times we're just more able to meet in the middle on things if we would talk about them and be open-minded.
Americans think they're pretty divided right now.
Yeah.
They weren't nearly as divided as they were during the Revolutionary period.
Here's the simple thing. We're always divided. So it ebbs and flows a little bit, but we'll always have big differences. You know, Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal is not met with universal approval. The Civil War kills 750,000 Americans, we think, over the issue of slavery. We have our own revolution. There are lots of periods, the Vietnam period, when we're so particularly divided. So I think there's a little bit of Chicken Little, you know, oh, the sky is falling because it's now. Things are always worse now than they ever were. The reason why historians, and God knows I'm an amateur historian, feel a kind of optimism is because there's something familiar. There's, you know, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. Human nature essentially doesn't change, and that's true. What's great about the revolution is, for a moment, there was something new in the world. And that's the thing that we need to use. That's the leverage we have to bring us back to the ability to speak to one another, to understand how you solve your differences, as opposed to the sort of soup of anger and distrust that seem to be, you know, everywhere now.
No president has divided Americans and families more than Donald Trump. He turned American against American, neighbor against neighbor, family against family. I don't even talk to my own fucking family. Now, I don't want to be here. I want to be home in my safe place in the world under a blanket with my wife and dog.
Welcome back to the Freedom Room, where we explore the stories, debates, and issues shaping America today. In this video, we are examining why American political divide is getting worse and why the country appears more divided than ever before. For generations, America have disagreed over politics, but today's divisions seem deeper, affecting families, communities, affecting the media, and even how people understand reality itself. From debates over immigration, debates over race, the economy, debates over the government power and social values, political disagreements have become more intense and personal. But what is driving the growing divide? Is it simply a difference of opinions, or there are deeper forces changing the way Americans see each other? And could the division affect the future of the nation? Stay with us as we explore the root of American political divide. First, let's watch some clips together, and when we return, we'll come back with more commentary on, or we'll break down the reality of what is happening. Stay with us, watch to the end, and subscribe to the Freedom Room.
The political landscape is so divided.
Yes.
The set of values inherent in each party is so extraordinarily different that it seems almost irreconcilable to ask someone to forget that those are someone else's values. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes making heads or tails of the American system requires you to start at one point. You know, have you ever tried to untangle a bunch of cords in your drawer?
Yes.
Like trying to find one charger?
Yes.
And you think you found it, and then it takes you to this charger, and you go to that charger. That's what it feels like sometimes looking at America and what's happening in the country. Because you see it reflected in other parts of the world, but America's system is unique in the conversations that people have and why they have them. And like what you're saying about the polarization is, it's just going to become worse because we don't live in the same world anymore.
Yeah.
You know, we would all meet in one place, whether it was for the news, you know, where people were watching, whether it was Walter Cronkite or whoever it was, people would watch the same news and then argue about it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you were watching even TV shows, you know, the other day, you know, when you saw that Angela Lansbury passed away, and I thought, man, I
Murder,
used to
She
watch
Wrote
every single episode with my mom in South Africa. That was a family thing. Mm-hmm. How many shows do we have like that? And not the shows, but how many moments? Everybody's watching their own TV.
Yeah.
Kids are in a different world to their parents. Parents are in a different world to their parents. And so you have this unshared reality that we're all existing in. Everyone's sitting on a train in the subway. Mm-hmm. Nobody is reading or experiencing the same thing, other than maybe the dancers, but that's about it. But I think what that's done is it's created a hyper-individualistic society where we don't realize that we are not living in the same world. And you can't
There's no
agree on
bridging it.
anything
There's no bridging it.
if you don't agree on the same world.
Are you as seriously concerned about our country as I am? You're aware, aren't you, that we're living in a divided country? The Bible says that if a nation be divided against itself, it cannot stand. And we seem to be not just hopelessly divided in opinions and theories and concepts, but also the other sides, that each side of the divisions seems to almost hate the other. And I don't see how America can keep going in this way. I'm deeply concerned. We've got elections coming up, maybe they'll make a difference. But I couldn't wait. I just felt I had to do something like my friend Bob Dylan did when we were in similar states of confusion. I started feeling a song, and I had to continue until I wrote words like this: where did America go? The land of the brave and the free? Can one generation erase a great nation because we can't find the way to agree? I've written a song called Where Did America Go? And I hope that you will like this song and you'll share it with others, and also at least share the conviction that there can still be answers. We can still get the America we have loved and cherished back again.
America isn't divided by left versus right. It's divided by this one simple cultural perspective. Is different dangerous, or is different desirable? And while this is framed as politics in America, it is about culture. It's Hofstede's uncertainty avoidance cultural dimension. Every fight you see over immigration, education, the economy comes back to this. On one side are those who believe different is dangerous. Change feels threatening. New ideas, new people, new rules, they all create fear. So the instinct is to control, to build walls, to fight against the change. On the other side are those who know different is desirable, that diversity, innovation, even conflict are what make nations strong and prosperous. For them, change isn't a threat, it is an opportunity. And they are right. And that is not an opinion. It is how nations and people actually progress, become better, stronger, more prosperous throughout every culture and throughout every time. And there's more about cultural perspective at culturalperspective.com. So this divide explains Trump. His supporters overwhelmingly see the world through the different is dangerous cultural perspective. They believe America's problems come from anything they are not used to, anything new, anything unfamiliar, immigrants, global trade, new ideas that challenge tradition. So they rally around a leader who promises safety by controlling differences, eliminating people that are different. But those who oppose Trump see different as desirable. They know progress comes from inclusion, from new people, new thinking, new ideas, and even uncomfortable change. So here's the problem. Neither side really understands this. Those opposing Trump think his base is simply wrong and hateful, but they don't see the fear they feel underneath. The fear, the deep belief that things change too fast, and that change will collapse America. And Trump and the Republicans feed into this. They tell America that different is always dangerous, but that is categorically wrong. And historical patterns show it is wrong. Nations grow stronger when they embrace diversity and adaptation. Difference is what built America in the first place. And staying the same or moving back is what will kill America. To those against Trump, you must engage with the fear, not just fight it. To those supporting Trump, you must face the truth that safety doesn't come from control. It comes from progress. And progress comes from difference. How do you see the world? Is different dangerous, or is different desirable?
Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died.
That speech by Donald Trump today was pure incitement. I'll tell you why. Charlie Kirk's values. Charlie Kirk called for an amazing patriot. Those are the words he used. To come forward and provide bail for who? The man who hammered Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, over the head, nearly killing him. Those aren't American values. They're immoral.
And Donald Trump, does he have any morality? Absolutely not. And he's definitely the wrong person to be talking about quelling political violence, left, right, or center. He's talked about putting Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad, talked about an execution for General Milley, and staged a coup that caused the death of a policeman. This speech of Donald Trump's wasn't designed to quell violence. It was designed to divide America. He talked on and on about left-wing violence, made no mention of the fact that just last June, Melissa Hortman, her husband, and her dog were shot in Minnesota by who? A Trump supporter. Political violence has no place in America, whether it comes from the left or right. That's the speech that Donald Trump should have given today, whether he's qualified or not to give it. And yeah, he's not qualified to give it. Trump has zero interest in quelling political violence. His interest is in getting his base angry, ginning them up, inciting them. Yeah, he's not the solution to political violence. He's its principal source today.
What political party do you most identify with?
Republican. I'm a Democrat.
What's something you dislike or a criticism of the Republican Party?
Trump.
There you go.
I like the idealism of what he stands for, but he can't control himself. So that kind of freaks me out. I like his core message about immigration, and I don't mean all the extremists about we're going to, get rid of the kids and the family, and we're not doing all that. But I just like the fact that he recognizes that it's an issue that needs to be addressed. And I feel like he's a business person and not a career politician. That was super important to me.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah.
What's something you admire about the Democratic Party?
I actually like the way that they're inclusive. I think that they are more thoughtful in thinking about the whole of society. And I think that they think more about the benefits of the culture versus just business.
The clip you just watched revealed that American political divide is not caused by one single issue. It is the result of many factors developing over decades. One major factor is the growing separation between political parties, where Democrats and Republicans have become increasingly divided over issues such as health care. They are divided over issues like immigration. They are divided over climate policies. They are divided over gun laws and government spending, and the role of the government in people's lives. Another major factor is the rise of social media and partisan news, where many people receive information from sources that reinforce their existing beliefs and sometimes increase distrust towards those with different opinions. Economic changes have also contributed in frustration, as many Americans debate issues such as wages. They debate issues such as loss of jobs or jobs. They debate issues like inflation. They debate issues like inequality, and so on, or amongst many. Cultural debates over identity, about race. There are debates over religion, and the social values have further intensified disagreements. But behind these political battles are real people with different experiences and concerns. So let me ask you this. Has social media brought Americans closer together, or has it made political disagreements worse? Do you think Americans' biggest problem today is political differences, or the inequality or inability to have respectful conversations across those differences? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Continue watching more clips, and we will come back.
Donald Trump came down that hideous escalator, and he said something that was able to divide all of us against each other. He said, you're out of a job, immigrant took your job. Out of healthcare, immigrant took your healthcare. Out of a home, immigrant took your home. We've got a better narrative. If you're out of a job, a corporation offshored or automated your job. If you're out of healthcare, a corporation figured out how to squeeze you out of healthcare. If you're out of a home, a corporation figured out how to speculate on your home. We've got an opportunity to win the future by reminding people what is really taking away their rights. And that is the way that corporate power has been able to buy and sell politicians to do their bidding. $185 billion for ICE, meant to weaponize our government against us under the presupposition of immigration? We all know that's bullshit. What could we do with $185 billion? So rather than funding that, I would rather stand up to corporations, make sure they pay their fair share, tax billionaires their wealth, and then invest in the healthcare and invest in the housing that we all need and deserve.
When did America become so polarized? When exactly did this country become so divided that families have split up because of politics? So divided that family members do not speak to each other because of politics. Did we see that happen under Obama, or Bush, or Clinton, or Bush Sr.? Differences, yes, but family members literally disowning each other? When did that happen? Yeah, that was Trump. And why? Because of trans people? 1% of the population? So few that the folks who are screaming about trans kids ruining everything likely have never even met one. What else? Is it abortion? Nope. 63% of the population is in favor of abortion. Guns? Nope. 56% of U.S. adults say gun laws should be stricter. Is it taxes, or wages, or social programs? These have been issues folks disagree on forever. But you don't see a father refusing to talk to his kids because they want corporations in the top 1% to pay their fair share, or minimum wage workers to be able to survive, or poor kids to get free lunch. When did folks become so furious about the other side's perceived transgressions that they want the people to be punished? When did one side begin expecting people to change their minds about bodily autonomy and ignore sexual assault? When did one side start expecting others to hate doctors and librarians and children? When did needing an abortion become punishable by death simply for lack of willingness to save the life of the person who needs it? When did it become normal for our leaders to pretend the things that are literally killing us, traumatizing us, and bankrupting us don't exist, like COVID and climate change? When did it become normal for Nazis to march in the street, or Americans to destroy the halls of government? When did the potential for civil war become a real possibility in the modern day? These changes in the behavior of Americans came on in just a few short years once Trump took hold of the country. That quickly, and here we are. So listen up, Hispanic folks and Republican ladies. The next rapid evolution of cruelty will turn on you. And the folks who dole it out and the folks who love to see it are going to need even more cruelty than we've seen in order to be satiated. Hispanic people will be rounded up in camps. And this will not just impact illegal immigrants. To the purveyors of cruelty, all of you look the same, legal or not. Every Hispanic person will be dehumanized and targeted. And women, those of you who think you're safe in the Republican Party, don't be gullible. If Republicans take control, the uptick in assaults on women, metaphorically and literally, will be swift and brutal. A national abortion ban is inevitable, as well as punishment for anything that could be construed as irresponsible during pregnancy. Birth control will be next. Imagine not being able to pursue your dreams because of pregnancy after pregnancy that you were not able to prevent. Not only that, but no-fault divorce will be relentlessly challenged. Imagine being unable to separate from a man you no longer love. A man who gets to keep you in his clutches because your wishes don't matter. Women will be further dehumanized and shamed and punished for not being whatever men want them to be. Not only women in bad marriages. All women will be further perceived as subservient to men. All women will look like property. These things will put your daughters in danger. Full stop. We will have more rape, more domestic abuse, and more generalized misogyny in every corner of American life. I speak to Republican women and Hispanics because the way I see it, they're the likely folks to vote against their well-being in this next election. Gay people, trans people, interracially partnered people will, of course, also be scrutinized and even brutalized. But my suspicion is they know that, and they vote accordingly. But Republican women and Hispanic voters don't seem to get it. And unless they wake up, they're next on the chopping block. And the chopping is happening fast. So here's what I want to say to them. Your vote is yours. Unless you vote Biden, your fate is sealed, and you are about to be royally fucked. And guess what? Nobody will ever know if you didn't vote for Trump. You can lie to your buddies and your husband so they don't reject you for voting blue, and you can save your own skin and the skin of your loved ones without anyone being the wiser. So I'm appealing to your better angels. If you want to make America great again, give it a chance to survive the future. Don't let one side take us into civil war. If you want to make America great again, whatever you do, don't vote for Trump. Yeah.
Now that you have seen the bigger picture, one thing is clear. American political divide is about more than elections. It is about trust. It is about identity and how people view the future of the country. Political disagreements are part of democracy, but extreme division can make cooperations and problem solving much more difficult. Throughout American history, the country has faced periods of deep conflict, yet it has also found ways to move forward through dialogue, compromise, and civil participation. The challenges today is whether America can disagree without using or without seeing each other as enemies. In 2026, the future of American politics would depend on not only on win election, but also on whether citizens can rebuild trust and find common grounds. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Americans' political divide can be repaired? Or is the country becoming permanently divided? Share your opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, support the Freedom Room by liking, by subscribing, and by turning on the notification bell. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. This is the Freedom Room.